Let's talk about interfaces. An interface is basically a reference type, which specifies a set of function members, but it does not implement them. In other words, it is basically a contract, and an interface is there to be implemented by other classes. The classes implementing interfaces will have to have a concrete implementation of all the function members. It is a requirement. Interfaces say what to do, and classes implementing them define how to do it. This is an example of abstraction because many concrete classes can be implementing the same interface, and whatever is using that interface will not know which concrete class is implementing that interface. So we're creating a layer of abstraction there. Common convention is to have an I in front of your interface name. It's just a common convention. You can follow it or not, but why not be consistent? And lastly, function members on the interface are implicitly public. So let's go ahead and create an interface for our car. I'm going to go ahead and say new and then interface, and I will say iCar, and inside of that I will have two methods. One is turn on off, and then I will have drive. So as you notice, I only have the signatures and I don't have the implementation. So this is just a contract. And also it's implicitly public, so I don't have to say public in front of it. So this is our interface. Now let's go to the car. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of the car to make it more concrete, because we already have a generic interface that it's going to be implementing it from, and I will call it Ferrari. So I will say Ferrari, and it's going to implement the iCar interface. See, if I take out this method, it's going to complain. It's going to say Ferrari does not implement interface members. So remember how I said it has a set of function members, and all the function members need to have a concrete implementation on the class that's implementing the interface? It's exactly what it's saying. So basically, it has to have the implementation for all of the function members. In this case, it's turn on or off, and then the drive. So for this one, I can have a concrete implementation and say, hey, say that the Ferrari is on. Copy pasted the wrong thing. So the Ferrari is on, the Ferrari is off. Drive Ferrari, have to start Ferrari first, right? Very, very concrete. Now I can actually go ahead to actually go to Solution Explorer. I can say have another concrete class, and this time I will say Lamborghini. So I will say Lamborghini. There you go. And once again, it's going to implement the car interface. See? Many concrete classes implementing the same interface. And you can just basically say implement interface. That'll create all the classes for you, or all the methods that need to be in the class for you. And here, I basically need to also change the name here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And there you go. So then I can actually get some of this and basically paste it in the Lamborghini. And you know, it's basically the same thing. I just didn't want to rewrite the code. Just going to change this. Drive Lamborghini. Have to start Lamborghini first. Great. Now we have Lamborghini as well. And all of them are implementing this iCar interface. Now it's interesting, right? Because remember how I told you that the person can now, right? It was only taking a concrete class, which in this case is going to be Ferrari, but we don't want Ferrari. If we want to create a layer of abstraction, what we can do is use an interface. So just like so, we are now saying that we are going to accept any type of car in the person. So the person can drive any type of car, as opposed to just driving a Ferrari. You see the beauty of that? Because now we can either pass in a car, which is Ferrari. Let me just change the name to Ferrari, variable name, and this can be a Ferrari. But also, we can have a Lamborghini. So let me change that to Lamborghini. And just like so, we can say, you know what? I don't want to drive a Ferrari anymore. I want to drive a Lamborghini. And that will work just fine. Why? Because the person accepts we're doing dependency injection, right? From the previous video, you already know. But we're using an interface to inject our dependency. And our dependency is an interface. And the interface is basically creating a layer of abstraction. It's saying that this car, we don't know what car it is. So even if you start creating many, many other cars, those can also be dependencies that are injected into the person. And the person class does not need to change. All it needs to know is that it's of type iCar. And that's the beauty and the power of interfaces and dependency injection working together.